Good evening or afternoon or whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm hoping you can see that, but it is very bright. And I'm a little bit annoyed because I need to maybe drop the light source a little bit. Maybe you can see it if I drop it. Is it coming? No, it's not. Anyway, welcome back to the West Ham Network. Hope you are well. I'm coming today and bringing you the press conference for the Crystal Palace game. This is really annoying me. Maybe I need to turn it off. Give me 2 seconds. And maybe you can see it if I do turn it off. I don't know if that's better, is it? Yes, there you go. Palace v West Ham. We are live on the West Ham Network. I hope you are well, and I hope you've had a great Christmas period and getting yourselves ready for the new year. And of course, what a fantastic year it has been as a West Ham fan. A fantastic year, 73 calendar year points in the Premier League for West Ham. What an unbelievable feat from the club. I hope you've enjoyed the content we've had through this year. It's been a massive year for us at the West Ham Network. I hope you've been enjoying the previews, the reviews, the matchday lives, the weeklies, the dailies, the lunchtime lives, the My Hammers 11s, the quizzes, you name it. We've got everything going on in the channel, and hope you have been enjoying it. It's a lot of hard work that we put into it, but we're willing to bring it to you every single day as much as we can. Now, fingers crossed, I think Stell does have a plan to do a new year, kind of last year's review. I don't know when he's planning on getting that out. I'm looking to do a quick daily tomorrow at some point, talking about the new year. It's just going to be a kind of brief look at potentially what we can expect, maybe. So keep your eye out on that over the next couple of days. And again, of course, on New Year's Day, we're hopefully going to bring to you the matchday live. Tonight, we do have the preview for the Crystal Palace game. And hopefully, if we can arrange it, we'll maybe have the matchday live for the Crystal Palace game, but we don't know. As it stands, looks like I'm going to another family member, so I'll be watching the game, but I might not be able to do the matchday live. So I need to speak to the lads and see what the situation is as well. But if you are new around here, of course, you need to hit that subscribe button. It really does help our channel out. Go across, hit that button, and of course, hit the bell notification. That will then notify you when our videos do go live. Of course, hit the thumbs up if you are watching. That again helps us out and also pushes our videos into the algorithm, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to do. And if you're not enjoying the content, hit the thumbs down if you want. But it is a fantastic victory over Watford. We've done the review, but it's a good way to bounce back. And now, very quickly, we move on from Watford, and now we go to Selhurst Park at Crystal Palace, and we need to bounce back again. And what a way to start the new year, by travelling away from home, where we've been really good at, and trying our best to get a victory against Crystal Palace, who are looking, on their day and are good at home. A good footballing team with some danger men. So join myself and Matt. We will have a Crystal Palace fan on this evening, 9 o'clock, for the Crystal Palace preview. Like I said, we will go through that. Now, there is plenty of people in the chat, so I'm going to jump through the comments and see what everyone is saying. GP's in the house. Hello, hope you're well. Is Father Snowman in the house? Can't see if he is. David Reed, hello there. Good to see you, mate. Hi, Black Country Hammer. Good to see you. GP, Father Snowman, you're in. Good to see you, mate. James Bond, good afternoon, winners. Thank you very much. Gaz is in the house. Hope you are well, mate. All talking to each other. No apologies. There was just a slight delay on the start there. I don't know what happened. David Reed, well, sitting here with my coffee, hoping for some good news. So here we go. Well, according to TalkSport, we are interested in Sam Johnstone. I mean, listen, mate, listen. We are going to be linked with everyone, and the aunties and uncles have said it all along. We've already been linked to I don't know how many players over the last couple of weeks. And now that silly season is about to start over the next couple of days, it's going to kick in big style. But let's hope that Moyes does go into the market nice and early and identify players that he's been looking for. Because fair play, Mark Noble said that David Moyes is staying late. He's working hard on transfer targets to see what he's going to bring in that can add value to this squad. There are players going to be out there, and fingers crossed we do need it. And it's the right time, for West Ham. It's worked out now, hopefully in our favour, that we could now bring in recruits that can push us on as well. GP, Anton, if Russ is Santa, is still the Xmas Grinch, you have nailed it on the head, mate. Nailed it on the head. Oz, hope you are well. And pick up the West Ham Network, always providing the content. I hope you enjoy it as well. I mean, listen, we the three of us sit and talk about what we want to provide for you. Now, what I want, what Stell wants, and what Russ wants sometimes doesn't match up. And it doesn't, sometimes I think, well, maybe you don't need to do that. And sometimes they think I don't need to do it. And sometimes Russ thinks we don't need to do it. But that just comes with everything that we do, of course, with this channel. But if there's anything in particular you don't like, let us know. That's fine. Let us know. We're big enough and old enough and ugly enough to be able to handle that. So please come in and let us know. Happy Hammerette, hello, good to see you. Anton, tomorrow, give us your predictions for the end of season. Well, that's not going to be my show, though. That's going to be the one that Stell's going to do. So if Stell can do it, it's quite a big show. I think he wants to plan. So we'll see what he can plan to do. Bob Claret, hi all. Good to see you. Good afternoon, lads. The Hazard, good. Thank you for joining us. Palace will be tough, like Happy said. It will be. They will be. Humbug. Wind up merchant. When does Haller's contract run out? Did you see Haller's comments about the African Cup of Nations? Someone asked him a question: would you rather stay at Ajax? And he said, well, if you played for a European team and a European tie came up, would you say the same for European football? And he made a valid point there, and he says, no, I'm off to the African Cup of Nations. Happy I'm buzzing for this window. Do you know what? I am as well. I don't want to go into this false sense of security with this transfer window, but I am buzzing. And do you know what I love about this one in particular, Happy Amuret, is I'm only joking. Because for me, we've learned not to listen to a lot of the bullshit, including ourselves. But I really do hope that you listen to what we say when we say we are reporting on and we think they may or we think that they won't. I'm not going to turn around to you and say we are and we will until that is on the West Ham official website. It's just not my nature. It's just not what I want to do. But that is me. Moyes is here also for transfer tips. He is. Is he in the chat? Let us know. James Bong. I may as well say hi to Harriet first because she'll hardly do so. Oh, good. I love seeing these talking to each other. To Pablo, I don't like bickering. Well, it just runs in the nature of the West Ham network, unfortunately. West Ham Clips, good to see you, mate. Hope you are well. I'm sure he's on a 4-year contract. I don't even know who he's talking about now. Afternoon, all. Keep doing what you're doing. The interaction is A+. Thank you very much, Oz, and I really do appreciate that. So many comments. I'm trying my best to get through them before I can start the show. Hi, Clips. Hello, James. Always say hello. Mark Alexander, good to see you. This is our most important transfer window. I completely agree. This is our most important transfer window since this last season at Upton Park, because that transfer window there was a vital one for West Ham to progress on the back of a fantastic season at last season at Upton Park. But we didn't do it. We didn't do the job in the transfer window well. But this one is vital for me. This is the vital one. This is the one that can show intent and progression to help the team, because the team does need help. There's no point in denying it. I don't think Moyes thinks differently as well. I think we need a left back because they're saying they might, but I think keep Johnson. I think we will keep Johnson, but I do think we need a left back as well. Anton, did you know Father Snowman wants Nobes out? A lot of people want Nobes out, but he is going to be out at the end of the season. For me, it's a case of enjoying what Noble can do, and I know we can still use him. I know for a fact we can still use him this season. We will use him this season if and when he is there. I know there's a lot of banter kicking about, but just enjoy him while we've got him, because we won't have him for much longer come the end of the season, and we can always look back at all the good times that he's had and what a great thing to do. He scored every single season since the 2006 season. Is that right? For West Hampshire? Since that season as well. I can't wait to see what happens. If you think of buying anything, you won't want it to depreciate. I can't imagine Kretinsky will let our club rot. He will want the others to invest in his club. Absolutely, I do think so as well. I know, Happy, you're feeling better now. I've heard Moyes hasn't given the board his wish list yet. Again, you can just Google it. You can just Google West Ham and it comes up by saying the board are pissed off with David Moyes because he's not giving them the transfer targets. But then you listen to Mark Noble saying that he's working hard to find the right transfer targets, etc. So we will see. As harsh as it sounds, I want Fabianski to get. Oh God, come on, Dad, don't say that. He did okay at Watford. Mark Noble from GP. No, Anton, you're supposed to tell Father Snowman off. Don't be a naughty boy. You know, it doesn't run a Man nature, though, does it? Vinny Noble can be very useful for 7 to 12 games a season, and he will be for the rest of the season. Wish we had 2016 Noble. We'll use him to lift that Europa Cup. Oh, don't, mate. Don't. DJ Russie B. Let's get club together so Anton can get another A for his board behind him. Do you know what? I mean, I would love to show you the pile of letters. There is an A in there, but I only decided to do it literally as we came on. That's why it took me so long. And I can't, there's just so many letters here, I can't find them. But Russ, you need to teach me, how can I make people see this? Because when I turn the light on, it goes and you can't see it. It's like the same with the on-air thing as well. So I don't know how to, do it as well. Let me see here. Back site stirring up shit. How would they know unless they're a board member? I completely agree with you. Hi, Russ, you're okay. Like, I can't even get started on the bloody show. Nobles played great at Watford. He helped dictate the pace on so many occasions. Vinay, Watford game has showed me that when we use spelling, Noble was really useful. I think he will be, absolutely. Much love. Gosh, I'm still hungover from Tuesday night and I have the chuckles. God, it's not as if we are playing Noble every week. It's absolutely not. Now, let me get started on the press conference, of course. So, David Moyes was busy talking to the press and he says, we don't have, he was talking about COVID cases. He says, we don't have any more numbers because it's something you can't really say much about. It changes every day. We're completely unsure what's going to happen daily, but today's update would be, we're pretty clear. Now, we do know that Pablo Fornals has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be missing for the Crystal Palace game. He will be back after the Crystal Palace game as long as he is okay and he still tests negative, but he should be back. And apparently it's a mild dose of COVID-19. Now, we did hear, of course, last week that Antonio missed the game when he tested, or I think his wife tested positive from COVID-19. So as it stands, from our understanding, things can change daily. So we have 2 more days now until the West Ham game. And things can change daily. So according to his press conference, as it stands, Fornals is the only player that will miss the game due to COVID-19. So as it stands, we've been reasonably lucky to get away with the circumstances in comparison to other teams. But you hear when David Moyes talks about fixtures that he's maybe a little bit worried that other teams are using too many excuses. And this is what he goes on to say here. And there's a lot of text here. So he said, what I would say is that I do think the amount of fixtures, especially if you're a successful club, is really tough. We've always played Christmas fixtures in this country, so we know exactly what we're getting here. The Christmas period, we've had 3 games instead of the normal 2 around this period, and that's added to a feeling of too many games. But I think it's probably the clubs who've had European football feeling that their players are getting worked too hard. Our players have had a busy schedule, but we play games, so we have to go along with it. I'm not in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, but I can't understand why there's 2 legs. We're in a period where players are feeling neglected because it's much tougher. I've worked and lived in this country and in Spain to see how they do it. And in this country, we play games over the Christmas period. I do understand why the teams who have been successful in cup competitions have had a level of complaint. I do understand it, but I also come from a country where we play the games. I wouldn't say I'm used to it, but I'm maybe a bit more hardened to it. So what do you think on it? I mean, you do hear a lot of people complaining. You hear Jurgen Klopp complaining like right and center every single week. I've got glitter kicking in there. I think Mila's been just chucking stuff all over me, makeup, you name it. So what do you make of it? Like, I mean, for me, you listen to the boys of 86 who say fixture congestion, we're playing 3 games a week for months, and we just had to get on with it. And I get that. And these players are like athletes, but and I think there's a difference in terms of, I do say, yes, get on with it. But when these players are athletes, and I'm trying to understand sports science, and people are saying, but if the body is like an athlete to the way that they are, then maybe they can't handle the pressure. And if they can't, then why don't they do something about it? Now, I don't want a winter break. No interest in it, because we've grown up, like what David Moyes said, and been used to it. But every other country does do a winter break. Is there something in it? And should we consider it as a country? I don't know. Get your comments in. I might jump into the comments just now and see what everyone is saying at that point, but there's probably going to go into a different tangent anyway. Dabs is saying one signing except Lingard that you realistically want, and Mark Alexander saying Tarkowski, Dennis Qualudi saying Michael Keane. Can you help me with the banner for Noble out? I would like Tarkowski. Hopefully we can get the signings in early. Mark Alexander saying that Phillips, 32 hours to the window opens. If it was gone 9 p.m. here, you would have flipped the You're totally on the banter, aren't you? His body may have slowed, but his brain certainly hasn't. I don't know who you're talking about. Me. 32 hours until the window opens. 5 competitions is a lot. It absolutely is. Black Country says Mark Moyes left it late last window, mate. I know a lot of shit goes round. It does, absolutely. Chris, Nick, I like the Christmas period. However, 5 substitutions are needed massively. I agree with that. Yeah, it looks like it. Guys are saying stop the moaning. Moyes is 3rd for Prem wins under a manager. Absolutely. The quadruple is still on. Just absolutely. Get rid of the Nations League. Everything is all about the money. It absolutely is right. Then he goes on and talks about gaining points from losing positions. He said, I don't want us to ever be losing, but if you are, you want the team to show a bit of character. The players have, in the main, have pushed and adapted. And even recently, when we've maybe not quite reached our heights, the players have still shown that character and resilience in the games they've played in. Now, that is based on the fact that West Ham have actually won 12 points from losing positions this season. And what a feat that is. What a fantastic feat that is. And that is the new West Ham, because we said it before, for the last 18 months, as much as we've hit a little blip there, you do feel in the majority of the time that when West Ham go down, that sometimes it's the kick up the backside that we need, and we can battle on. So the old West Ham was, you'd go 1-0 down, you'd fear we'd get beat 2-1, 3-1, 3-0, 4-0, whatever. But now, when we go 1-0 down like we did against Watford, apart from being on that blip that we were on, if we weren't on that blip and we'd gone 1-0 down against Watford, most West Ham fans wouldn't have been as fearful as we were for the Watford game just because we hit that blip. But the West Ham turned up against Watford is the West Ham we've been used to for the last 18 months. So the 1-0 lot, like conceding that goal, made us open up and just go for it and become the West Ham that we're used to seeing. And it shows resilience in what Moyes is trying to build at the club. And of course, we bounced back to win the game 4-1 as well. Mark Alexander is saying, tell them to get on with it, bloody flakes. Happy cash them. I'd sell Diop on the condition that whoever buys him must take young Masuaku. Newcastle also after Noble, not happening, mate. GP, I think our squad is too small for League Cups in Europe. I do agree with you. I do think our squad is thin, but hopefully we can see what happens when the window opens in 32 hours. Is it? Happy Emirates? Vlasic is going to be awesome on Saturday. The goal was so long overdue. Do you know what? I completely agree with you. I think any player who is struggling for a goal and struggling for, I'm not even saying struggling for confidence. Did you hear his statement, what he was saying about being at the club? People, his family, his friends were asking him, what's it like being at the club considering you're not playing game time? He said, I wouldn't want to be here if I wasn't happy, and I'm extremely happy. That is what you want in this squad. That is what Moyes is looking for. So when people judge players on the basis of how many games has Vlasic had, how much game time has he had, it's a big judgment. I hear some people on social media saying I judge Vlasic on his last time when he was at Everton, when he played for Everton in the Premier League. Now, I can't remember when that is. I'm just going to have a quick look at that now. And I'll tell you when he was at Everton. Here we are. Let's have a quick look here. It's coming up now. 2 seconds. I mean, back in 2017, for 2 years, he was there and he played 12 games. Is that enough to really judge him? And he's played 8 games at West Ham. Is that enough to really judge him? Don't know. I'm willing to give him a bit more time, especially the fact that Moyes has said, I've not bought him particularly for this season, but if we get something from him, then hey ho. Richard Stevens, the standard and speed is much higher now, and as well as the science, so pressure is greater on players. With that said, most teams in and around us have been in the same boat this season. Absolutely. Pat Mahone, Steve Jobs there said it. Cheers, Pat. Good man. Nobo's far too loyal. He is happy. Klopp and Tuchel moaning when they have got bigger squads. I mean, Chelsea's squad is ridiculous. The amount of players that they've got, and he's a proper. Do you listen to him moan when he moans? He's like, we just get on with it, but I'm really angry. It's hilarious when you do watch it. He made some good computers. Chris Lockwood, left back, striker, centre backs needed in January window as soon as possible. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to willing to accept anyone. Good news is I don't bother to look at the bottom of the table anymore. Let's hope long may that continue. Are you happy for Fredericks to go, Anton? I don't think there's a need for him to go. I think if we're talking about the players that are in the chat, Yarmolenko, Masuaku, I don't think there's a need for Fredericks to go. So if I think there's something in what Fredericks can do. If Fredericks is happy to be a squad West Ham player and get some game time in specific competitions, then I'm all for keeping him, because I think Moyes is the right manager to bring the best out of him. That's the rumour. Newcastle after Noble. The source of the rumour is me. I don't know shit. Love it. Let these young millionaire come to work with me for a month, pushing cement up a wall all day, then see how much they moan about playing 2 games of football a week. You're just so right, mate. You are so right. Happy Amaret, he's the last of the kind now, like Brookin and Gerrard. Oh, it's the same wonder if Nobles would leave to Newcastle for 200k a week. I think I would leave anywhere for 200k a week. I think most people would. To Pablo, we now have bigger squads in the 70s as well. I'm with, get on with it. Absolutely. But I wonder, would we be like that if we were really suffering? I mean, we are suffering from injuries, but if it was really bad, then who knows? A week ago, I thought we won't even miss Benny when he goes to AFCON. Now I've changed my mind in the space of 2 games. But that's the thing about the squad. Happy as well. You know, Benny's not been on form recently, but he's banged in 2 goals and he's full of confidence, which is great, and that's what we want. And we're coming into the transfer window, and Vlasic has got a goal, and we've got Fornals to come back into the frame. So there are players there that can take on the mantle, and maybe you know what, the African Cup of Nations could be a blessing in disguise for West Ham and for Benrahma. Now, I did make a big, bold statement, and I said if Yarmolenko had a fantastic Euros, it could kick on this season. He had a fantastic Euros, and he didn't kick on this season. But I do think Yarmolenko and Benrahma are very different. But I do think he'll be missed. I do absolutely agree with you. Leon, hi. Oh, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Hey, mate, long time. I'm in a long league manager in Essex. I have 2 weeks break over Christmas, and it's a nightmare. You don't train and players lose fitness rather than just play and train. There you go, mate. DJ Leon used to be, I think he knows Russ and one of the DJs at West Ham as well. So good to see you, mate. And a good story with it, Leon, is he was mascot at the West Ham Liverpool game at Anfield when Tony Cottee made his second debut with the club and got sent off at Anfield, and I was in the stands in the away end with the West Ham fans at that game. So that's the funny connection me and Leon have got. It's quite funny. What we're saying here, Happy Hammerette Oz, it's not the money. Noble would never do that to the fans. Phil Parks was a builder, if I remember right. Vinay shouldn't sell to Newcastle if they go down with a yes, honestly, I love this stuff. I mean, you should be the ITK, Vinny. Fredericks would be a good winger, in my opinion, especially in the FA and Europa. Happy Amaret is saying the games are so far and few between when we're stuck in. I want to watch the beautiful game. Absolutely. I wonder if Benny turned this around and thought it in mind and could be replaced whilst away. I don't know. And I did love that. I loved seeing that. I loved seeing his mum in with the fans and the away fans. I thought it was a fan. Dabby Dozy. I personally would not sell anyone Magpies, but I'd let Yarmo go for free. There you go. Right, where are we now? We are on to West Ham on and Moyes on challenging. He says, I think we're on the way. We're not fully there yet, but I think people will look to see if we can back up last year. I think we've started the season better than we finished last season, and we're trying to challenge the Joneses at the top of the league. There will be big names coming into the comp. Oh, hold on a minute. I've left that one. I should have taken it out. He says, sorry, Moyes is on Declan Rice in 150 appearances at West Ham. He said, I want to keep driving him on. I want him to keep stepping up. I think he stepped up again after the Euros. Of all the players who played, I think he's one of the players who stood out. He's helped us as a club, but hopefully we've helped him as well. We've given him the chance to lead the team, and he's taken on a lot of responsibility as well. He's shown a real level of consistency, and his standards in the main have been really high. And that is on the back of the fact that Declan Rice will, of course, come back into the team against Crystal Palace, and of course, will make his 150th appearance for West Ham at the grand old age of 22. We have a baller here, and people will go on about the game against Watford and you know, the new lease of life that Souček had, but I don't doubt for a second that that will be emulated when Declan Rice comes back into the team against Crystal Palace. He is by far one of our, if not our best player. At West Ham, we're going to need them for this game, particularly because they've got quality players at Crystal Palace, individual players that we'll talk about in the preview later on. So what a massive achievement for such a young lad. Absolutely. Kimball, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I wouldn't want to breathless the chat today. I mean, it is Christmas time in it, so everyone's just getting a bit merry and having a good laugh. Yeah, no, tell me about it as well. But listen, I've not had a cheeky drink, so we'll maybe have one later on. You never know. Right, he goes on and talks about Jared Bowen, of course, the man of the moment, the one who's on fire. I'm not going to sing the rest. I don't think it's solely down to fitness. I think it's having time to adapt to the Premier League. I think Jared's got used to it. He did come back in a really good condition this summer. He's probably the player who hit the ground running more than anybody. He certainly showed a level of consistency to keep getting assists and goals, which have been really important. And if you look at his stats, his assists are growing year upon year when he's playing for West Ham. He's getting better after every single game. You think about the penalty that West Ham won from absolutely nothing. The ball goes over the top, and I don't know how he got there in front of the keeper to nip the ball away and get pulled down for a penalty. The goal he scored that shouldn't have been chopped off, in my opinion. I know it was a little foul, but I do think I agree with Moyes' comments when he said VAR is just ridiculous now. It's like, it's so soft, and I think it is. If it was on the other foot, yes, I agree. I would go mental and say it should have been chopped off, but not for that one because it was West Ham and Jared Bowen scored it. But he is really looking good, and I think he's going to be literally getting signed up to the the England squad, I wouldn't be surprised. He is looking like a quality player. He's totally suited. People say I'd love to see him up front, and I know he scored a wonderful goal when he was up there, but for me, he's much better out in the right cutting in, or out in the left cutting in, wherever he wants to play cutting in, because I really think we've got a luxury player here. And I think we just need to get other players in and around and up to that level. And if players can react to the Premier League like Jared Bowen has, and gradually get better each year, we're onto a good thing at the club. We are. If the Ben Ramas of the world keep progressing, and he might be a little bit slower, but he keeps progressing, then cool. And what I noticed about Benny, in particular, and I know this is about Jared Bowen, what I noticed about Benny was when he was taking his chances against Watford, his final third was better than what they have been in recent weeks. Outside the box shooting, hit the bar. He scored a goal. You know, he's starting to get that nitty gritty back again. But then again, he's going to be off to the African Cup of Nations. But what do you think of Jared Bowen? What a fantastic player we do have. Happy Amaret is saying Bowen's worth at least 60 million to us, in my opinion. Underground Serious is saying Bowen for Hammer of the Year at this stage. Matt is saying, I heard Bowen is linked with Liverpool. Hope he just doesn't join him. I don't think he will. I do think Liverpool will, and clubs will come in and try and tempt West Ham, maybe not in January, but maybe in the summer. Especially with Jared Bowen's personal circumstances, there is now a really strong connection. I do love the fact that when he celebrates, he constantly points to the badge. I know there's nothing meant in that, but I do like it. I think he likes being at the club, and I think he's got a lot of time to develop at the club. So, I mean, what do you think he's worth? I mean, Happy Amaret saying 60 million. Vinay saying I'm a big Maximum fan, should get him from Newcastle down. I agree with you. I think he is a good player, and you could imagine Bowen and Maximum on either side. It is a bit ridiculous, and it would look really cool. Curves is saying Bowen current transfer value is 35 million. I bet he is only about 30 million though. Mark saying no drink for me, online antique auctions all day. Don't want to buy loads of shit. Babies. Palace, if Rice is 120 million Bowen, I'd take 80. If he keeps putting in the performances, his value will go up. Vinay saying Maximum's like a step dancer, does the feet shuffle and then does something amazing, and he's definitely Hammer of the Year without a doubt. GP, he would go for 50 happy if Grealish is 100. I mean, we should do those comparisons. It is ridiculous, absolutely. Navid Benrama, I saw as a good player. I like this man from Arizona, USA. Good to see you. Been to Arizona 3 times. My brother used to live in Phoenix on Bell Road. Don't know if you know it. Really big, long road. Oh, I love Phoenix, Arizona. Grealish who? Ian, good to see you, mate. Everyone watching, hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. Graham Lindsay, we must retain our important players. Let's price Bowen out of the market at 70 million. Absolutely right. 2 more slides, or 3 more slides to get through. He talks about that man, Mr. West Ham, Mr. Mark Noble, Mr. Captain. He says, I think Mark will be around. I don't think he'll be too far away. We'd like to keep him in some capacity around the place because of the years he's been here. When you finish playing, you might want a bit of a time away with the family or away from training. The other day, he played really well. He's done a great job, and there's no doubt about his ability or tactical nous. It's just age catching up with him physically. Not only that, but I think he's a great ambassador for West Ham United Football Club as well. And I completely emulate everything that he says there. Let's just enjoy Mark Noble as a footballer in his last season, because he can definitely still do a job at our club. Not used every single week. Moyes is blatantly saying that, but when he needs to be brought in, then that is the right thing to do. And I think against Watford, it was the right thing to do. People will say, well, I want to see Alex Crawl, but you know what you're getting with Mark Noble. You know what you're going to get with him, and he provided everything that we wanted. And now he's the second joint top goal scorer for West Ham in the Premier League alongside Paolo Di Canio. Now, he'll want to try and get into second or first place, depending on how Antonio takes the rest of the season. But what a great achievement for Mr. Mark Noble all those years ago when he made his debut for the club. And it's great to see. So let's just enjoy his last season. Let's just enjoy it. Let's not get on his back. Let's give West Ham the motivation that we need, and hope we can progress up as far as we possibly can. Alan, Bowen and Rice are our future, so they're priceless. Anyone who wants them can break the bank or go and do one. Richard Stevens, the price of our squad has quadrupled in half a season. Absolutely. Happy about how he's lovely. He's brilliant. He's fantastic. He's settled in really well. He loves his brother. He loves his sister. They love him. And yeah, he's a good little baby. It's brilliant. He's got his West Ham stuff. Don't worry. I've got him kitted out in his full merchandise. He's fantastic. And yeah, I'm hoping to actually I'm hoping to go to the Manchester United game. That's the plan. I'm planning to take little Freddie as well, so that'll be a second West Ham game. But that's the plan. We should make YouTube promotional video for Masuaku and promoting a Maxim type player. Masuaku's good at going past defenders. Sometimes clever, and get all the fans going for it and get the scouts looking at it. as well. James Bong, this time last year, Augie was Defo Hammer of the Year. The Hazard think he should swap Fabi to Europa and FA, and Areola to the Prem. I know we hit a slump this month, but this time last season we were 7th. There you go, sure. Surely Noble will go after his badges, absolutely, and I think he'll be there with West Ham. He's joint with Takano in second. He absolutely is. Noble to lift the European Cup from Mark Alexander. Absolutely. Richard, can you just imagine the moment Nobles is in the badges and his experience and steps up to become a manager? Don't, Abby, don't. You've got Mark Noble. You've got Takano as the assistant. Oh, I love it. Back in the day, Mark Noble was on the verge of joining Darlington, but Frank Lampard got injured. There you go. There you go. Right, 2 more slides, and then we are done. Moyes on West Ham. It's probably good West Ham supporters could give you that answer. I think we've got a really good team here. We've got some really exciting players, and I have to try and build on that. If you stand still, you'll fall back. In the opening part of the season, I think we've stepped up again. We want West Ham to grow as well, a new young West Ham support, and we want to keep building on what we're doing. And I think that's him saying, I am going to be looking at the transfer market and I want to build on this West Ham team, but I'm not going to go out there and just sign people for the sake of it. Us fans do get really pissed off when we don't sign players, and that's what transfers do. They excite fans, but we need to be patient. I honestly believe we need to be patient and totally trust in what Moyes does. We can't crumble around a couple of bad losses or a blip. We are still West Ham, and we've got to where we've got to by investing a reasonable amount of money, but nothing like the other big top 4 or 5 teams. And we just need to back this club 100% right to the end. I mean, fair play to what he is doing. Nob should have say on at the club dealings in some capacity when his time is up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we are negotiating with him currently right now. Director of football, perhaps, you never know. Happy Emirates is green. Hazard saying Noble for future West Ham manager. Nothing will make me happier. Happy Emirates, a legend manager in waiting. We don't need to sell unless a big offer comes in for any of our players. I completely agree with you, Gaza. I would not get rid of anybody just for the sake of it, even Masuaku, even Yarmolenko, just for the sake of it. Just hope we have more than anything we have decisive Dave this window, and not the dithering Dave from the old. Right, last slide is, of course, David Moyes, who has spent 2 years since his return to West Ham. He says, what makes me most happy is I think that there are people talking about the football club more than they have in the past. That's mainly down to the players, the young players, the players we've brought in, and we have more international players than we've had in any time at West Ham. We've got support who are enjoying watching the team, which means you're probably doing something right. I'm learning all the time and trying to get better at what I do. I want to try and improve the style, but ultimately the big thing is I want to do is try and win as many games as I could. We've been very good with our wins ratio in the main. I felt I could bring to West Ham any idea to build a football club and grow it. I'm only just the start of that journey, but I think for us to try and remain consistent, finishing certainly in the top half of the league would be a step in the right direction. I think there are a lot of things we can do to keep moving along. I mean, what a turnaround that he's had. Since joining, coming back to the club. He's transformed our club, and it's a massive, massive, massive plaudits to the man. Hats off to him, and a bow down to you. And people say, it's David Moyes. He's come to West Ham. He's come against it, so much negativity and turned our club around. Fair play to you, and I'm going to stick by you to the end, mate. I will stick by you to the end. Let's see what everyone is saying. Not sell Yarmolenko Masuaku. You take that back. No, you know what I mean. But are you just chuck them out? Just chuck them out. I mean, you get rid of 2 players, you bring in 1? No, I'd rather have them in the back burner and bring them on for a minute at the end if they need to. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm getting carried away. Maybe I have had a couple of sherries, you never know. Happy I'm buzzing. Love to seeing Nobles. Loving what we have, and seeing Nobles have a great game made me so proud. Feels like I was watching my offspring. Mad in it. Absolutely mad. Gaza, we can just stick with the same squad. We need to freshen it up. I agree with you. Completely agree with you. James Bong, sometimes there's nothing better than a dither here and there. Absolutely. He came here to keep us up. Look how much we have achieved since then. Absolutely. The trouble is, Yarmo is one of the top earners at the club and needs to go. He does. Hey, I do agree with you. Anyway, that brings an end to our Matchday Live, our David Moyes press conference. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. We're on the march to 11,000 subscribers. I'll be back tonight, 9 o'clock, with Matt for the Matchday build-up preview show. We will have a Crystal Palace fan on as well. If you are interested in becoming a channel member, you can also look into that. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. If you're not enjoying the content, hit the thumbs down. And yeah, stay safe, look after yourself, and I will see you tonight And then I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. And then I'll wish you happy new year all tomorrow as well. Take it easy. Good to see you. And come on, you. Hold on a minute. I've got a little video I need to play. Don't let me forget this. Don't let me forget this. Don't let me forget this. As we always do, this is the thank you to all the current channel members. And I'll see you soon. Take it easy.
It's like a family tree.